The journey starts today.
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find you just finished season 3, so why have you skipped 19 seasons?
Well, it sounds to me like somebody didn't watch my update video a couple of weeks back. But that's fine. The TLDR is I'm doing journeys now. And once I've done journeys, and then master journeys and ultimate journeys, and whatever season comes after that until I'm up to date with the anime, our wonderful channel members will be able to vote on which retro season they'd like to see me cover whilst we wait for the new season. But of course, that's gonna be a while. So in the meantime, the journey starts. Now, to start things off, let's address the elephant in the room. This is the first episode of a brand new season of Pokemon. Not just a brand new season, mind you, but also a new generation. The Gen 7 era has ended, Ash is the Alola champion, and now we're taking our first steps into Generation 8. And what did Pokemon in their infinite wisdom decide was the best way to start off a brand new season, a brand new generation of their anime? That's right, a filler episode. Seriously, this episode is just Ash's Pikachu's origin story. I'm pretty sure nobody ever wanted this. Now, if you'd have told me the first Pokemon we'd see in a brand new season of the anime would be Dodrio, I'd have never believed you. But okay, fair enough, it is a nice callback to previous visits to Pallet Town. And it is nice for Pokemon to remember the past for a change, until Ash inevitably forgets what resists electric attacks, as always. We're introduced to a younger Ash Ketchum, who wants to go to Professor Oak's Pokemon camp. Wait a minute. Pokemon camp? Like where Ash met Serena? Are Pokemon really gonna jump in with the Amorship in flashbacks so soon? Thankfully, no, because this is a different Pokemon camp, apparently. Whilst the narrator talks about the wonderful world of Pokemon, I can't help but spot my boy! And my boy, and my boy, and my boy, and my boy. You know, because there's like 5 of them there. I know they were on Ash's poster before, but actual wild Pokemon feel like they count just a little bit more. Hang on a minute! Spearow and Pidgey living in the same forest on the outskirts of Pallet Town, happily at that. This goes against everything I know about these two species of Pokemon. So much for Pokemon Remember in the past. Told you it wouldn't last. We're then introduced to a Pichu, which, for those not paying attention, is Ash's Pikachu as a Pichu. Honestly though, who gives a toss where Ash's Pikachu came from? He has it now, and he's had it for years. That's all that should matter, really. While sticking about in the woods, Pichu gets attacked by a wild Ekans and then later some wild coughing. Ahaha, do you see what they did there? We get it, Pokemon, because Team Rocket, very good Pokemon, very good. So how long do you think it is until Pokemon turn this into some kind of BS origin story where it's actually Team Rocket's Ekans and coughing before they were caught? Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Pokemon are really bad for what I call Star Warsing characters. You know where they shoehorn in a random character into the backstory of another character where it doesn't really fit, just so they can be like, hey, look, this character used to know this character. I'm looking at you, Chewbacca and Yoda. Why the hell do you know each other? Why the hell does Chewie not remember you? After being gassed by coughing, Pichu falls from a cliff. And naturally, because it's Pokemon, fall damage apparently isn't a thing. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, this series was released before Pokemon Legends Arceus came out. Pichu is then saved from certain death by a passing Kangaskhan, who I guess promptly adopts it? Like, I get it, out of all the Pokemon, Kangaskhan is bound to be the most maternal, but it didn't even look around to see if the Pichu was with anyone. That's more of an abduction than an adoption, really. But remember, it's all fine because isn't it all so wholesome? Speaking of wholesome, let's take a moment to thank our wonderful Ace Trainer Ultra XL members who are Bro Metapod, Purple Dragonair, Ghost Lupin, Andros LaFay, Sin City Yeti, Gear Overlord, TJ the Nerd, JWatt8554, Night Angel, Blue Thunder 2021, Lucas Gates, and Kingly Gamer YT. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel as much as you do. Now, there's a scene in this episode where it very much looks like Pichu forgets how to eat. It does make me wonder how he lasted on his own before this, but okay. Now here's a direct quote from the narrator.
This once lonely Pichu is now happily living with a small group of Kangaskhan.
Yeah, mate, we know. We're literally watching the episode. And to be fair, I'd argue this isn't a small group of Kangaskhan. There's at least 8 of them, and for Kangaskhan, that's a lot, if you ask me. Pichu and the baby Kangaskhan collide while swimming backstroke and almost drown. And of course, they find it absolutely hilarious. Ah, yes, because what could be more fun than almost drowning? Maybe not almost drowning? No? Anyone? Gee, thanks, Dodrio. Nothing helps a person wake up feeling calm and refreshed than... Oh, and there she is. Quite possibly one of the most boring traveling companions Ash Ketchum has ever had. Yep. It's Chloe, and a perfect example of what I referred to earlier as Star Warsing. Apparently, Ash is late to Professor Oak's camp because he's— Never mind that! Is that a Nintendo DS? And are those Game Boy cartridges for Pokemon Blue, Green, and Red? Holy Easter eggs, Gligar Man! Professor Oak decides that rather than let Ash hold them up any longer, they'll just go without him. Mate, couldn't you have at least rang his house phone first? Hell, he only lives around the corner, why not just take the group to his house to wake him up? It's like you don't even want him to go on the trip. Professor Oak is an arsehole. Pass it on. And hold on a minute. If this is supposed to be years before Ash starts his journey and gets Pikachu, then that means that this is a different weird Voltorb clock that's kind of also a Pokeball with a Pidgey inside than the one that Ash broke on that day. So just how many of these things has he broke over the years? Must cost his mum a bloody fortune in weird Voltorb clocks. I guess now we know where all the child support from Ash's dad goes. Oh look, the first Pokemon we see caught in this season is a Caterpie. You know, just like the first Pokemon Ash caught in season 1.
It's like poetry, sort of, they rhyme.
Listen, I don't care what anyone says. Nobody has ever been this happy to catch a Caterpie. It's not like catching one is some amazing challenge. They're so easy to catch, they might as well hand them out for free. The expression on Squirtle's face says it all. You know, because there isn't one.
Well, actually, Liam, what if Caterpie was the last Pokemon this girl needed to complete her Pokédex?
You know what? Touché. Here's a question. Why isn't Gary at this camp? Like, it's literally being run by his granddad. What could he possibly be doing at this age that's more important than this? Honestly, Gary, mate. Sort your priorities out, lad. Something that should always be at the top of your priority list,
As long as you're over the age of 18.
is using code ACE to save 20% on G Fuel. Today I'm drinking the wonderful Mega Potion. It's my favorite current flavor that's available. It's absolutely, so bloody refreshing. It's getting me through the days. It's getting me through the nights because I work a lot of nights at the moment, and I'm absolutely in love with this flavor. Oh, that is so bloody good. Remember, you can use code ACE to save yourself 20% on your G Fuel order, and every time you use it, it helps support this lovely channel. So thank you very much for choosing the best goddamn energy formula there is, G Fuel, and using code ACE for 20% off. Remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because it contains caffeine, and children don't need to be anywhere near caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and because it contains caffeine, drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Back to the episode, and here's a direct quote from Go.
Although there probably isn't a thing about Pokemon I don't know.
Are you sure about that, mate? Because if that's the case, where do their eggs come from? Is it like out of their arseholes? Because I don't know a lot of Pokemon with arseholes. Like there's Whismur, but I guess Loudred as well.
The bumhole.
Professor Oak asks the kids if they can tell him anything about Kakuna.
Oh, me.
If you look really closely at a Kakuna, it looks like he's wearing a cute little tie, like he's on his way to a job interview. After Go correctly identifies Kakuna, Oak tells him if he knows Kakuna, then he probably knows this Pokemon too. Hold on a minute, mate. I don't think that's how it works. Just because Go knows about one very common animal doesn't mean that he automatically knows all about some random rarer animal, does it? That's like saying to someone, what's that? Oh, it's a cat. Wow, you know what cats are? You must know all about Komodo dragons then. Here's a direct quote from Chloe to Go.
Honestly, Go, this is why you never make friends.
She says, as his friend, who literally invited him, her friend, on this trip. Chloe, mate, you're full of shite, love. Shut up. Meanwhile, Mew versus Nidoking is happening nearby for no reason. Okay, but what did Mew do to piss off Nidoking so much? And if it did do something deliberately, why is it picking fights with a Nidoking? The worst part is, we never actually find out why this fight's happening. So for all we know, Mew is just a massive dick, or Nidoking is just a massive arsehole. As well as using what I assume is Copycat to copy each of Nidoking's moves, Mew keeps using Teleport to dodge Nidoking's follow-up attacks. I mean, that's great and all, but that's not how Teleport works, is it? Teleport helps you escape from battle with a wild Pokemon. So does that mean when it's using Teleport, Mew just keeps leaving the battle and then restarting it? That's annoying. I'll be honest, I don't really get why Nidoking's so phased at having Sludge Wave used against it. It's a ground and poison type. It double resists it. Plus it's from a Mew, so it doesn't even have same type attack bonus. Apparently this Nidoking is a pussy bitch. Pass it on. Here's a direct quote from Go.
Who's that Pokemon?
Ahaha, he said the thing from the thing. But also I thought there wasn't a thing about Pokemon that Go didn't know. Sounds to me like you didn't know what this one was, Go. Therefore, Go is a numpty. confirmed. I want to address this because I hate it. Look, I don't mind the who's that Pokemon thing before the ad breaks because it's a staple of the anime. My problem here is really simple. Why do they not say it's and then the name of the Pokemon anymore? Like, it's Pikachu. Like, sure, they do put the name on the screen, but that's not the same as hearing it said out loud. Not everyone can read, you know.
Well, actually, Liam, you can read. Can't you?
Of course I can, but it doesn't mean I want to when I'm watching cartoons. As Go and Chloe are chasing after Mew, it uses Transform to disguise itself as a Magmar, and then a Tauros, and then a Lapras. Thing is, that's not how Transform works, is it? From everything we know about Transform, an example of the Pokemon being transformed into needs to be seen by the Pokemon doing the transforming. Brand new series, same old clueless writers, I guess. Apparently, when Chansey removed the egg from their pouch, a new egg instantly spawns. This is news to me, and I hate it. That's all that needs to be said. The narrator tells us that the Chansey are handing their very nutritious eggs to the Kangaskhan as a sign of friendship. Although, let's be real, this is 100% a peace offering so the Kangaskhan don't kill them all. Direct quote from Go.
I just know it flew over this way.
Mate, it wasn't even flying. When you last saw Mew, it was disguised as a Lapras swimming downstream. In what universe is that flying? Apparently Go doesn't know the difference between swimming and flying. Pass it on. After leading the baby Kangaskhan away from its family, Mew leaves it on the edge of a cliff overlooking a river. You know, to fall to its death. Guys, I'm starting to think Mew might be a massive arsehole. After hearing Pichu scream, Mew turns around and uses Psychic to stop the baby Kangaskhan from falling and to gently reunite it with its mother. Listen, Mew, I don't care what anyone says. Just because you went back and fixed the problem, it doesn't exonerate you from causing the problem in the first place. Like, fair enough, everything may have turned out fine, but you're still a dickhead. Also, this scene is a very good example of what I called Star Warsing, because basically this massive, catastrophic, dramatic event is happening to Pichu and his best friend, and Go and Chloe, who will be Ash's companions years in the future, are literally just around the corner. It's just Pokemon going, oh, they almost crossed paths, they were in the same place at the same time but didn't see each other, isn't it interesting? No, it's forced and it's shoehorned and no one gives a toss. Apparently, Pichu and the baby Kangaskhan are growing so big now that the mother can barely run when they're in the pouch. I mean, that does make sense. Pikachu was a lot fatter in the 90s. That night, when everyone's asleep, Pichu takes it upon itself to leave the Kangaskhan group so as not to be a burden to the one that's been raising it. Which in my opinion is pretty dumb since she made it very clear that it wasn't a problem. But of course, you can't go on to be the best friend of an anime protagonist by simply trusting in your mother's ability. Hey, sometimes you just gotta force your own backstory. I will say it's super cute and I really like that the bond between Pichu and the baby Kangaskhan was the friendship that Pichu needed to evolve into Pikachu. It's a nice way to get around the evolution kind of issue. Not a strong enough bond for you to stick around though. Hey Pikachu. I don't get why either. He's a Pikachu now. It's not like he needs to stay in Kangaskhan's pouch for protection anymore. He can defend himself now. So I don't get why he can't just go back into the cave and go back to sleep with his adoptive family as a Pikachu. Pikachu, mate, you're just being dumb. And let's not forget that at some point, this dumbass gets himself caught by Professor Oak. Well done, mate. Way to make your family proud. So you're on your own in the wild for, what, a day? A week tops? Well done. Now, I know it's just standard for anime to reuse shots, but reusing this shot makes it seem like neither Ash nor his mum could be bothered to clean up that mess for years after he missed camp. Now, I will say, all WTF moments aside, seeing this scene recreated in the modern anime style really is a thing of beauty. Like, it's not perfect, like some of the lines are different and a lot of it is glossed over for speed's sake, but it served its purpose and it really did hit me in the nostalgia. Bravo, Pokemon. Well done. Mate, if this face isn't just a whole ass mood. As the episode ends, the narrator tells us that Ash and Pikachu have had many adventures together. Many is a bit of an understatement, don't you think? Like they've had over 20 years of adventures together, mate. And somehow Ash is still 10 years of age, despite having birthdays and whatnot during the seasons, and Pikachu somehow hasn't died of old age. Seriously, don't mice live for like 5 years tops? Shouldn't he be a ghost type by now? Oh yeah, and we get a post-credit scene of Go saying his whole "I can hold my future future in the palm of my hand catchphrase for the first time or whatever. Stop trying to make it happen, Go. It will never not be cringe. So those are my WTF moments for Pokemon Journeys Episode 1, Enter Pikachu. No laughing at the back. Let me know your favorites and any that I might have missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and become a member to support the channel. And of course, check out all my live streams on this very YouTube channel. Use code ACE for 20% off G Fuel, and until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.